Yeah, he had good rushes throughout the entire game, and that's a tough kick. It's a pressure situation with a loud audience, and he had a he got a good jump on the ball, so it could have affected it.
Dustin, once again, those 50 plus that he's getting now, 4 for 4. What's going on with that, and can you just talk about how he performed in that?
He's just been very consistent on a day-to-day basis with his routine and specifically to the operation with Corey and Charlie. So I think that has carried over into the game results. So he's a true professional. He works at his craft. He understands the intricacies of the position. He's a veteran, and he's done a really good job for our team.
But what's the data tell you on running it out of the end zone? I mean, are you better off? Does the data show that you usually get it past the 25, or you better to take it in?
I haven't looked at the data as of late, but if you feel confident in your players, then that'll help you make the decision on what to do. So,
what did you get out of Darden, and is he still in that role?
I thought he did a good job. I thought he did a nice job in the game. He cut the one ball on the sideline, did a nice job getting vertical. I thought the run style is what we're looking for. So I thought that he, in the game, I felt like his judgment was pretty solid. He caught the ball clean, protected it well.
Stay there.
I think it's definitely an option now. I mean, that'll be made at the end of the week. You only have so many elevations on a player, so we'll have those other guys ready. Donovan will be ready to go.
Thoughts on Dustin winning AFC Special Teams Player of the Week? Did you get to talk to him at all?
Yeah, it was well deserved. I thought it was obviously a competitive game that every point mattered, and obviously hit the big kick on the possession prior to them getting the ball, whatever it was, to bring us within the ability to go ahead with the field goal. So critical in the game to have every point that we earned.
Talks about too how he celebrates. The defense celebrates after every sack, whatever the case may be, any big play. Do you guys do anything on the special teams to that nature as well? Like, did you guys do anything for Dustin for winning that honor?
I would say that a thing that I would say is pretty unique about our team, and Anthony Walker pointed out to me the other day, is it's a very, and I don't know how it's been here in the past, or really every team is different, but I would say that this team is very selfless, and you can see whenever the offense makes a play, the defense goes crazy. When the defense makes a play, the offensive players are going nuts. When we hit that punt before half, the sideline goes pretty bananas because now they don't have an opportunity to get into field goal range to kick a field goal. So I think that, the culture that Kevin and AB have created with bringing in these players, especially this year specifically, from what I can see, is that there's a unique bond with our team right now, and I feel like everyone's playing together and trying to do his best job as playing complementary football in all three phases of the game.
It kept starting to rain and stopping. What impact did that have on the day that Dustin Hopkins had?
So I think early in the year we had the rain game against Cincinnati, and I think being able to have that experience in game with the ball handling, the snap operation, that helps to have had some of that earlier in the year. I don't think it played too much of a factor in this past game. They didn't really express any of that to me, but look, whatever the conditions are, we're ready to play in them, and we're expecting the roof to be open in Indy this week. So
Corey had the long punt before the half, and then I think he had 4 inside the 20 in that game. How important was he to what you guys did?
Yeah, Corey did a nice job. He did a nice job. The ball before half was, completely flipped the field. I think we ended up getting a penalty on that rep too. From what I remember, I think Odom held Rodney McLeod on that rep. But yeah, I mean, to be able to just take them out of even remotely close to having an impact to try to get points on the board before halftime was huge.
What do you think about going back to the Colts?
I'm excited. I'm excited for another opportunity, man. I'm excited for an opportunity to get another win.
No, not besides former team the last 4 years.
Yeah, I mean, I would say there's a decent amount of personnel changes. You know, I had a great time when I was in Indianapolis. You know, was able to work with a lot of really good special teams units. Went to the playoffs a handful of times. Extremely grateful to Frank Reich for the opportunity to be the coordinator there in my time, and to the ownership. You know, Chris Ballard, Carly, Mr. Irsay. Like, I really enjoyed my time there, and now I'm excited for my time here.
Dustin said after the game that kicking towards the downtown side he noticed was a little bit windier. So that final field goal that he made was towards that side. Did you guys have to talk about that at all?
Yeah, we talked. Okay.
Just like heading into that kick, since it especially put you guys ahead.
Yeah, so we talked through that in pregame. We'll always get like the distance, the yard lines go in each direction, depending on what the wind variations are and things like that. On that, in specifically on the first kick where we missed the kick, I just asked him, you know, how did that feel? You know, he said I got good contact, but it wasn't the line that I wanted. So I think he obviously made the corrections as the game went along and was able to adjust to whatever the wind was doing. So, yeah, I thought he handled it pretty well.
Left end zone coming off the edge like that. Just how hard is it for that guy to block a kick, right? I mean, it looks like he's going as fast as anybody, and he doesn't get there. So, like, what's his job, or what has to happen for him to affect a kick like that?
Yeah, I mean, it starts with your get off. You know, he's got extremely good instincts, and he's fast. So, and he bends well. So I think that those are all I would say the traits that you want in a position player like that for that spot. And, you know, he's a good football player. He's got good acceleration and burst. I mean, he ran like 4.30. So, I mean, obviously his start's going to be, you know, something that has to enable him to be able to get there.
What impact does the roof, go ahead.
No, you're fine to go.
What impact does the roof open have on that? I mean, is it a major impact, or because you said you expect the roof to be open, but
Yeah, they like to open it for whatever reason, even if it's like 50 or 60 degrees. I know that the players don't love it, and I don't think the fans do either. But there's not a big impact in it. The wind pattern. I mean, we play in Cleveland. I mean, we have wind here. That's not, even if the window's open there, it's not windy. But so it really doesn't have an impact, but we're anticipating it will be open and it'll probably be colder.
To follow up on Scott's question with Denzel, I mean, I know he talked about he was mad that he wasn't able to block it. So just he's so obviously competitive on the defensive side, which everyone knows, but just how much of that competitiveness does he bring when he's in there on those units for you?
And I would say this in speaking about Denzel and his role for us on that unit and with other starters, and I talked about this like early in the season, we have a lot of starters that are playing on 1 unit, 2 units, field goal, whatever it may be, and everyone's embracing those roles. You know, guys like, you know, whether it's Dalvin Tomlinson playing on our field goal unit last week. I don't know if anyone noticed that, but he did an incredible job. He played our guard last week when we had a couple guys get nicked up. So things like that. Back to the selfless thing. It's doing whatever it takes to win the game, right? And that's what football is. It's a team sport. Everyone has to be willing to do whatever it takes to win, and fortunately, like, our team has bought into that.
What do you make of their kicker? He's made 5 50-yarders, Matt Gay.
Yeah, Matt's a good kicker. So we had Matt. So I'm not sure if a lot of people know this. We had Matt on practice squad in 2020. So he was drafted in 19, I want to say, to Tampa. So he gets cut from Tampa, and this kid was talented. I had a high grade on him coming out. He's a field kicker, and for whatever reason, didn't stick in Tampa. So we ended up signing him to practice squad, and you could see like that he was gonna be the guy. Like, everyone in the building knew that was a dude, and that we should have pulled the trigger and kept that guy, and they would have saved themselves a lot of money. But everyone knew. I mean, everyone knew, and he got poached late in the season by the Rams, and he's done a really good job for himself. I felt like coming to Indy enabled him to kind of reset, get back to the basics, and he found his path. You know, I'm never going to overcoach a specialist and kind of put them in their comfort zone. And I think I do a good job of managing those guys to be able to have, you know, let them do what they want to do to a degree and not be too, like, dictatorship amongst it, because some guys can be like that. And I really do think it enabled him to get back on track, and credit to him for having a great career.
In the home stadium, do you know which end you want in the fourth quarter, or can it change every Sunday?
In Indy Stadium? Oh, in Cleveland? It changes. It changes. It definitely changes. There's times where we'll want to finish one way or another. It's happened already this season. So, yeah, I'll always communicate with the specialist in pregame, and then I'll communicate that to Kevin before we go out. So.
You ever seen a penalty get reversed like it did last Sunday?
So I knew that it wasn't on us. I knew that it wasn't on us, and I knew that something got mixed up in the communication with the officials. And you know, they have a hard job. They definitely have a hard job, and you know, fortunately, they got it right, and they made it right, and they admitted that they had made a mistake. Fortunately for us, they got it right, and not to say that, you know, they didn't. Yeah, so it was good that they got it right, because honestly, that's a big difference on that play. I mean, we end up going from, I want to say the ball started like the 28 maybe, and we got it to 38, and we would have been like inside the 20, whatever it was, something like that. So it was definitely a big thing for us to get that right.
Last one there, Indy. What did you see, like the difference in their distance on a field goal? Like, was it the same, or were they able to maybe go 5 yards more in the dome than on a traditional outfield?
Yeah, I think typically when you're playing with ideal conditions inside in a dome, that you're going to be able to get more distance on the ball unless you had wind at your back. So yeah, I'd say typically inside you can hit for further distances.
I wanted to ask you about, going back to Matt real quick, you know, drafted guy. You guys had a guy like that here. Dustin was a guy that got drafted and didn't stick with his original team. Why do you think it's hard for drafted kickers sometimes to just stick with their original teams?
I don't know. I think that in football, just in every facet, every position, there's a transition from college to pro, right? And there's more pressure in the NFL. There's more as far as like a rush. You're going with the rush. You're dealing with a different operation. The balls are different. And sometimes it does take time with younger players. I mean, you can see, for example, Daniel Carlson gets drafted to Minnesota, has a few missed kicks early in his career, and they move on, and now he was like a Pro Bowl kicker in Vegas. So, and he's super talented. Same with Matt Gay, you know. And look, there's position players that are drafted high that don't pan out too. So it's like it's every position. I mean, you would hope that if you're drafting a kicker, that they are going to develop. So.
Yeah, I think he's scheduled to get out there and make some throws. So part of the process of him just, you know, trying to get back ready to play. Good to get him out there with the guys.
Does that mean that he's trending towards playing?
I'd hate to say that, Mary Kay. I know it's getting better, obviously, because he's going to be out there today. I'll say that.
But nothing has gone according to Hoyle in this whole process, right? So you guys are probably
ramping him up, getting him ready, getting him back. So, you know, we'll see how it goes today, but excited to get him back out on the field. I know he's excited.
Did you
Seen him credit loose yet?
No, not. Yeah, I have not. The sessions I think he's been inside, most of the time, so I have not been able to. But I heard it's getting better each time, so it's good.
How would you assess how PJ did last week, and how comfortable are you with him if he has to go again?
Yeah, I mean, you're only going to get better every time you get more experience, right? I thought he battled hard in that game, did a lot of really good things. As always, you're going to have a few plays you want back, But, the times that we put the ball in harm's way, I thought he made 2 great plays getting the interceptor down, especially the first time. Be able to throw that pick to 54 and then tackle him and then have our defense be able to hold. That's a huge play by him in that game. It was a double minus and then a double plus. So, but that's things you'll learn from each week. Very comfortable if PJ starts again this week. I think he's going to be a week better in our system.
How shocked were you when he threw that ball in the end zone there at the end?
Yeah, a little shocked, but that's part of the process. I got to communicate to him better in that situation. But that's stuff that we'll improve from each week.
Just slide inbounds.
You like to keep that clock running in that situation for sure.
Seems like he understood pretty quickly, throw the ball to Amari Cooper. Good things happen. How much does it help a guy like him to have 2 out there?
Oh, it's huge, and that was a challenge for those receivers going in that week. That was a physical group of corners. They were grabby, they were physical at the line of scrimmage, and we challenged our receivers to make plays on 50-50 balls. In the second one there where he went up over top of the guy, that was a great job by Amari. But anytime you have a guy that his stature, Amari, out there, you feel very comfortable giving him opportunities. Later in the game, we gave him an opportunity in the double coverage, and that's where we just, as a quarterback, we need to draw that line of making a better decision on that one play.
Alex, I know Indy has caused a decent number of takeaways, and obviously ball security, it sounds like is a big emphasis for you guys after the bye week. Just how much more is it this week with
It always is. It really is. This is a ball searching team. They're really good at it. There's a ton of attack on the ball. It's on the film. So we've definitely showed our guys those plays and made them aware. Coach Stefanski challenged our defensive scout team to get a ball out this week, so they're trying hard to get it out, and we're trying hard to protect it.
You mentioned the defense making plays after those turnovers on Sunday. What sort of peace of mind does that give you knowing that you have that kind of unit on the other side of the ball?
You don't want to, as offensive players, you don't want to say, hey, let the defense win for you. But, man, it is a comforting feeling knowing they're playing at such a high level on the other side. You don't have to be perfect on offense, because they're going to be able to help you out at times. Now, will we want to be perfect? Absolutely. So we're striving for that. But it is a good feeling to know that defense is playing at a high level.
Sean, this shoulder injury has been kind of a wait-and-see kind of game for you guys. How have you seen him be able to respond to the uncertainties and maybe all right, next week, tomorrow kind of thing?
I think he's really taking a day at a time. Not looking too far ahead and just trying to get better and through his rehab process each day. He's been great in the room, very positive, last week with PJ as a starter. So he's doing all the right things. But I know it's tough for him. He wants to be out there worse than anybody.
You guys, is it as simple as you just need to see him throw like he has? And for him to, that once he gets that, clears that hurdle, everything else is good for you guys?
Yeah, I think that's probably common sense. As soon as he feels well enough to be able to make all the throws on the field, that's probably when he'll be ready to go. Not sure when that'll be, but it's part of the process. Yeah, I mean, I'd hate to ask anybody to go out there limited, and especially when you're a quarterback and that's your living is throwing the ball. So he's got to feel good about it. We also have to feel good about it. But I think we're seeing him get better every day.
Other like the mental aspect, like he's been engaged where if that clicks, then you feel comfortable with him being ready.
Oh yeah, no, he was doing that last week. He's prepared like he's going to start the game each of the weeks. So he's fully immersed in the game plan and ready to go if he feels up to it on Sunday for sure.
Wear something on the shoulder that that wouldn't really restrict throwing that much, but protect him at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely. There's definitely things you could do. Tape a pad inside of your pad. There's definitely different things. I'm not sure what or where they are on that, but yeah, you can definitely protect it.
I imagine you want to give PJ as many reps as possible. If it looks like he's starting, how do you not interrupt his game preparation?
Sure, and that's a hard balance. You know, you're trying to make sure that he's ready, and at the same time, if Deshaun's ready, then you want to make sure he, you know, so you're juggling back and forth. But, you know, as a backup quarterback, that's your life. You know, you're used to not taking a ton of reps and, you know, have to come up and get hot right away and go. So it's good practice for him. If he's, you know, if he gets all the reps, great, and if he gets half the reps, great. You know, we're going to roll with the punches on that one. So.
To have Joel back, just how weird was it not having him out there for the first time since you did?
It was weird. Yeah, just see him dressed in, you know, in a raincoat on the sideline is strange. You know, just talking to him after the game, it killed him. You know, it was really real weird feeling for him, I'm sure. But, you know, anytime you can plug a veteran guy that's a Pro Bowler in there, you know, it's good for us. We're really happy to have him back. But I tell you this, I'll say this about Mike Dunn. He played his butt off. I mean, most guys would have come out after the halftime. He pulled his calf right before the half, and he played on one leg the whole second half, and that's a tribute to his toughness. And I know he was greatly appreciated by that offense.
Have you been around an injury like this, where it's day for as long as this has been?
Yeah, yes, I have.
Your experience, how have you guys managed it?
You just got to go day to day. I mean, you can't be up and down. It's, you know, it's all going to be based on how quickly it heals and gets back to 100%. Yeah, I know.
What has impressed you about just the way that Jerome and Kareem have gotten the running game going, especially from Sunday's game?
Yeah, that was big. Those guys ran hard. I thought Kareem ran extremely hard. Like he, you know, he made some tough 4 or 5 yard runs. You know, there was a crease there, and he put his head down and did some really dirty work in between the tackles. You know, he's a great screen runner. We know that. And then Jerome, man, he's nifty in there. He's tough to bring down. He's got great feet. He had some huge runs, especially in that fourth quarter. So happy with where those guys are right now.
Like the way that they've been able to manage that together and the way, like, just their connection as a duo, I guess.
Yeah, no, that's a great room. Stump always keeps that room nice and tight, and they do a great job. You know, Pierre's another guy that can come in and help us. He's done some good things on special teams, and you know, maybe he gets some more touches too.
What is unique about Indianapolis defensively, or what they present to you?
It's definitely a distinctive defense with Gus Bradley. You know, he's been playing it for a long time. I've played a lot against that style of defense over the course of the years. It's unique in the fact that it's a lot of zone. You know, a lot of weak rotation with the safety, some unique looks where they keep the safety a little bit higher and they're single high. You know, they cheat their safety to the field. It's a 60-40 look. It's a distinctive defense, and they play it really well. You know, it's not a lot of complexity to it, but they understand where they are in each coverage call, each run fit, and they play it really well.
Not having Stewart there kind of in the middle of that defensive line, how does that impact, you know, what kind of impact are you expecting that to have?
Well, it's you're taking a really good run stopper out of their front. You know, earlier in the week you ID the issues that they present from a personnel standpoint, and he was one of the guys that was definitely highlighted as a premier player on that defense. So that'll be a little bit of a blow to that defense for sure.
Is this kind of reminiscent of last year where you got one quarterback and you're going to do these plays, and maybe the other quarterback comes in and he gets these plays? Is it similar?
It's similar, not quite the same, but it is similar. You know, there's definitely things that Deshaun can do that PJ can't, and we wouldn't ask PJ to be put in those situations. So I don't know if it's a wholesale this or that like it was a little bit last year, but there is a little bit of that for sure.
I think overall, your line did protection-wise against a really good front.
I mean, hats off. You know, they earned the game ball last week across the board. Thought they played extremely well. I thought Jed may have had one of his best games as a Brown, as a pass protector, and then DeJuan, you know, he lit up and came on. I mean, his strength is pass pro, and if he would have struggled, I think Bosa would have stayed on that side the whole game. So he was bouncing back and forth. So I was really proud of both tackles, especially in their pass protection. And then that internal guys, again, Mike Dunn, you know, Poe played one of his best games. Wyatt played really strong. So they definitely carried us offensively, that front. All righty. Thanks, guys.